with Stretch, yours truly, your 6'6" phenomenon. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Here we go. Which member of Migos did not have a verse on their song Bad and Bougie?
No idea.
Come on.
I have no idea. I know the Migos had a song called Tasty. Stir Fry.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday to you. It's time once again for another episode of Dope Chats with Stretch. That is I, yours truly, Stretch, 6'6" phenomenon. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully, you all had a very productive and wonderful day. I know I did. But right now, it's time for us to just get into it, man. I'm looking forward to tonight's guest. Super excited about this guest, man, because she keeps it real. She keeps it 100, as we say. You know what I mean? So I would love for you all to please put your hands together, show some love to one of the best psychotherapists in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. She's very charismatic. Like I said, she keeps it real. She's an author. She's an advocate for wellness in the workplace. Please show some love once again, if you don't mind, for Dr. Camille Adams Jones, also known affectionately as Doc Jones. Come on now, show some love. It's good once again, if you don't mind, for Dr. Camille Adams Jones, also known affectionately as. Oh man, come on now, show some love. How you feel? Once again, if you don't mind, for Dr. Camille Adams Jones, also known affectionately as. Are you There we go.
So sorry. I got the team trying to listen in. They trying to listen in. Everybody trying to get a little bit of Dope Chats with Stretch. My bad.
It's all good. All love. How you feeling, Doc?
Oh man, exhausted is an understatement, but super excited to be here right now. For you to catch me on a Wednesday night after book, bed, and bath time, Stretch, yeah. You winning. Don't ask me to stand up. You don't want to see this bottom half, but
no, it's all good. It's all good, because we've been going back and forth because, I've been trying to get you on. And so I'm glad that you were able to make some time just to sit back and kick it, because I think, this conversation that we're about to have is definitely needed. And I know a lot of people can definitely take a lot from this and with your expertise. And so I just want to say thank you once again.
Absolutely. Anything for the culture.
That's what's up. So let's get into it. I mean, we're coming into year 2 of this COVID pandemic that's definitely affected so many different people in different ways. Of course, folks losing loved ones, people can constantly or getting sick. But the one of the main things that COVID has definitely done has affected people's mental health.
Yeah.
What do you think, or what can be done, I guess, to help people cleanse their mind or get right, or gets back to some sort of normalcy where they're not fearing the alone aspect of
that social isolation piece.
Yes.
So what I will say is, one thing this pandemic has done is exposed. In our community, we don't really have these mental health chats. But when it became a commonality amongst all of us, like nobody could say, I'm all right, with like full sincerity. Like, right. We met March 15th, 16th, we went down. March 23rd, I'm all right. Yeah, telework. All right. In the house. Yes. I got some toilet paper. Shout out to everybody with a Costco card. You know what I mean? You had that Amazon hookup for Lysol.
Right.
In that life. Then April came. He was like, okay, yeah, party all the time. May came, and we was like, what's happening? And it was like just this exposure, because a lot of people got to spend time with themselves. And they realized, damn, I'm not okay. On many aspects, in many layers of life, whether it be my career choice, who I done chose to be with, because now that choice is right here. and we looking like, damn, you ain't got nowhere to go today, bro. Like you okay? You need a cab ride? He's like, no, I stay here. Remember me and you, 15 years deep. Oh, I just didn't know you was gonna be here so regularly. I didn't know you was gonna be here so regularly. that, then many of us became homeschoolers. Like,
Right.
With all of my doctoral degree alphabets behind my name, I had toddlers. So I was like, listen, we're either going to do these ABCs or we're going to focus on these TikTok dances, make y'all some viral sensations, bring some change in this house that way, because these ABCs, we're not going to get down pat. And so it was just a lot of exposure of what our deficiencies were.
Right.
And when you have to look those on day in and day out, sometimes it doesn't feel good. Because when we in the rat race, we can ignore it. We can back burner it. Like, I'm good. Brush my shoulders off. Let me keep pushing. I'm okay. But when you have to stand in everything that you've created and everything that you've absorbed and everything that you've never unpacked, it overtakes you. It overtakes the best of us.
Right.
So everybody who thought they had it down pat, they just started to realize how much they did not have in order. And our community particularly, we love that prayed away, just in the African-American remedy of getting through everything. Let's just take a nap, when we get up, everything will be better and things like that. And we realized those remedies wasn't working. Then we went to the magic potion of ginger ale. That didn't save us, and so we realized we got to get something in order, and talk therapy reemerged.
Mhm.
I got to say, calendars have been booked. I specialize with couples, and there's some dynamic work being done by people who realize they are with the one they love. Like,
Right.
They got that goodness. They like, but we just got to work it out. We got to work out some of these kinks. We got to figure out where we lost it, bring it back, and then when you realize, you just couldn't rely on your sex life to push it through, because everybody put on a good 15 to 35 swing. You're not holding people up in the air the way you used to. So you had to rely on some conversations and what do we have in common and what's our future goals. So you having real conversations.
Right.
Find out, both y'all got destroyed credit scores. That's why you don't have things. So people started building. This pandemic did create some builders.
Right.
Entrepreneurs emerged.
Right.
But then failure happens. And a lot of people see failure as a mental health strike.
Right.
And one thing, like, sometimes failure is the best thing can happen to you because it's a lesson learned. It's a lesson learned. Pick up, rebuild from it. What did you do wrong?
Mhm.
Let's put it back together.
No, that's it. You hitting the nail on the head right now, Doc. You right there. You made me think of Solange. I tried to drink it away.
Yeah. Everybody had a glass.
Everybody.
And when we just could not make it no more, a DJ saved our life. Shout out to D Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that club quarantine brought the world back together. I mean, everybody from every coast, from every continent was in there, like, music.
Right.
And so we found a common ground. And then when music started to come out and say, cheer for mental health and wellness, promote getting help, our athletes emerged. People started taking time and space for themselves. Then it became popular. That stigma in our community, we didn't have to wear so much. Like, a lot of people in the African-American community go to therapy in secret.
Yeah.
The Asian community, they don't go. They are working it out through the generational cultural trends. Our Latina community, they still have that hierarchy that they adhere to. And so self-help isn't something they necessarily gravitate to. So we started recognizing the cultural dimensions of it. But then the fabric of the nation changed. And then we had some things in common, like hate emerged. And we could recognize the bears and burdens that marginalized populations take on and how that transitions into the workplace. So as I watched the murder of George Floyd, I'm also asked to sit at my desk and perform with my white colleagues, with my Asian American colleagues, with my Jewish colleagues, many of them who don't know the plight of being married to an African American male, having brown and black sons that could have been Mr. Floyd, and still asked to perform to my best ability. So we went through a lot of things, and mental health just train wrecked every avenue of life.
Right.
And those of you guys who work in corporate America, there is conversations that just a no-go land at the water cooler. And this pandemic made everything free fall. You had to have those diversity and inclusion conversations. You had to have those critical talks of racism, equity, access in the workplace. We started seeing the promotion of corporate America trying to do things in alignment with Black Lives Matter. The George Floyd effect really boomed the African American entrepreneur component.
Mhm.
But what I was telling everyone at the time was, this will be for such a time as this. There are so many people that are performative allies, but get your bag. Get your bag while you can. You selling soap. That white guilt wants you to buy soap. You sell that soap. Buy that soap. An African American lady made this soap. We buying soap today. You know. So we had a lot of individuals who entered the consulting world as diversity and inclusion consultants. Get your bag, but
Yeah.
do no harm. But do no harm. A lot of people's LinkedIn page just changed. That at one point they were working as Target head cashiers, but over the weekend they got a certificate in diversity and inclusion, and now they were charging $250 an hour to show up at your job to give presentations on how to have more of an inclusive workplace.
That's absolutely facts right there. And it's interesting that you touched on it, and the fact, like, when it comes to, like, in our community, therapy is such a taboo sort of thing. Because it's a sign, and most people look at it as a sign of weakness. Oh man, you don't need to go talk to nobody. Like you said, drink some ginger ale or pray it away or whatever the case may be. But I've learned, over my years that therapy is key, and it's essential, because a lot of the stuff that you may not realize that you're holding on to is something that always or comes up and affects all relationships, whether it be from a professional relationship, whether it be with a love interest, or just the relationship that you have with yourself, because we're holding on to so much baggage, and we don't know anything.
I'm telling you, homegirl Erykah Badu, that song "Bag Lady" speaks so much truths to how many missed opportunities we have because of the baggage we carry with us, because of the residue that we've never taken the time to rinse off. And that residue comes from childhood trauma, to my gentlemen who were taught not to cry as kids, and now they're in relationships with, females or other males who be like, talk to me, give me some of your emotional equity. And they just do not know how to do that. And it's like, what do you want me to do? You want me to cry in front of you? And they're like, yeah, if that's what your emotional equity is, cry in front of me. But at one point, I want you to put words together. I want you to formulate a sentence that's embraced in emotion of how you feeling, how you doing, what you need, what you need. I don't want to love you through osmosis. I want to know that I'm loving you, your wholesome self. And I can't do that unless you unpack and undress in front of me. And a lot of people feel like that sexual connection is the key to, well, I'm sleeping with you. Don't you think that means that, I'm like, no, it's not. Because you could get so much more out of that emotional connection than you could ever give someone on that physical piece. But when you combine the two, man, you got magic.
So what is it that you think, like, when it comes down to, just the aspect of therapy? What should a person look for in a therapist in regards to it? Should it be a lot of, like, searching around and try this one, try that one? Or
for me at this point, like, therapists are like shoes. You got to try them on until you get the right fit. And sometimes you got to wear that ugly pair of shoes that's good for your feet. Right. Especially when you get to a certain age. Like you can't be in them Jimmy shoes where you got to cut your 2 pinky toes off to rock in them and things like that. They cute, but they may not be the best fit for you. Right. You really need a therapist that you're going to be able to have a good time with, somebody you're going to hate going to, but you need to show up to, somebody that you can be transparent with. This is not a relationship where you want to go in and you're still hiding in that dynamic because you're not doing therapy well. So many of my colleagues are booked. I know a lot of people say, well, I'm an African-American male. I want an African-American male therapist. That's your preference. But it may be a gay, white female that truly helps you reach your breakthrough. So don't be discriminatory towards help. Right. And I think, the biggest example I give is how many people are more transparent in front of, quote unquote, the help than they are in front of company. Anybody who has a housekeeper, like, she's seen it all. Like, your housekeeper has seen it all. And you in there like, my bad, my bad. But for company, you cleaning up, you storing away, you decorating, like the house look like this 24/7. But for the help, you really are giving it to them as messy, as unkept, as grimy and grungy as it is. Come that same way to a therapist. Right. But come to one that, really does give the opportunity for you to freely divulge. And a lot of people go feel like, I went to therapy yesterday, ain't nothing changed. Like, really? You gave them that 42 minutes, ain't nothing changed? And damn, that's it. You might as well give up, because if you don't already invested 45 minutes, but you have to be willing to engage in the process. I tell people it's a process. Now, no, therapy you should not have the same therapist for 56 years. Like at some point, you got to start making some progress. But people do keep a therapist where they check in, like, maybe we done gone through that rigorous piece. And now I do just check in at once a month or once every 90 days, just to say, hey, look at me, ain't killed myself, doing good, like, or something like that. Or, look at me, I ain't returned that text yet. You got it, like, yeah, doc, you winning. That's my greatest champion client. When they come to me and say, guess what? I ain't call him. And I'm like, look at you showing out. I'm like, but you've been in his DMs, right? Yeah. But I ain't call him. So
that's crazy. So how much time should a person see a therapist off the jump? Like, I know what, like my previous therapist, I would see her like once a month, and then it kind of broke down to like every 3 months, like
the goal is to give you coping skills where you can take the training wheels off. There's some people in the initial, like, they need that once a week component. If you see a therapist every day, you need inpatient. Something ain't right. Like, you're not coping all the way. You need hospitalization. But sometimes people need that journey of stabilization. Like something dramatic has happened to me.
Right.
Like, I've had gentlemen come home, like, we've been together 10 years. And I came home and she had someone else, not just in our house, but in our bed where we done raised our children. And I'm like, well, how are you? He was like, I was frozen. Damn. Like, he's like, and you know how we talking with the homies, like, this ever happened to me, I'm gonna do it. But when in the moment, you just like,
yeah,
Debbie? Is that
Wait a minute. Why I gotta be Debbie?
Debbie? Because come on, Debbie the only one. Deborah ain't doing that. Deborah at the church. Debbie?
Yeah,
Debbie, she's a community servant. So Debbie is out doing all kind of things in that house while you at work. So, Deborah, you better stick with Deborah. Okay, because Deborah, she leading the church choir. Debbie, she leading other things. So, but and I say that to say that when life shocks you and you don't have the tools and resources to really cope, you have no idea what's next for you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had a chance to experience that in this pandemic, loss, like sudden loss. Like, yes, we always knew like our elderly would pass away, but did we know they would pass away in droves? Did we know that when they passed away that we wouldn't be able to go see them? Some of us lost our loved ones via a Zoom call because there was a nice enough nurse willing to log into an iPad and give us that opportunity. Funerals wasn't able to happen. So we never got a chance to say goodbye to Nana. Some of us lost parents. Some of us, just went into these bubbles where we always were on the scene. And now the scene is shut down. So what do we do? What's our identity? And we just went stir crazy. Yeah. And so that's why that immersion of Club Quarantine really helped. Because then you could be like, oh, you're doing this, versus giving us a reason to bring it back to the good old days, or just different things that arose, like the drive-by birthday parties, like making the best of the dynamics we were dealt with. But some people, when you get punched in the gut, you're not equipped to withstand that hit.
Yeah.
And that's when you know that your mental health is fragile.
Yeah.
But it takes an event sometimes for individuals, even the strongest of us.
Right.
We just started having these conversations about domestic violence this last October. Like, everybody goes like, I would never let a dude put his hands on me. And I'm just like, it's not even the dudes putting their hands. My women are out like auditioning for WWE SmackDown in some of these relationships. I'm like, sis, where you learn how to drop kick like that? She was like, it just overcame me. And next thing I knew, I had him in this chokehold move and I'd wrap my legs around him. I was squeezing the life out of him. I'm like, and this was because he didn't text back. I'm like, okay. So then you showed up at his job and did WrestleMania moves. Okay. So there's an indication. Maybe you're not all the way well.
Yeah. How about that?
Maybe not all the way.
Debbie,
Debbie, was that the right choice? Let's take it back a notch, Debbie. Did you do the right thing or the wrong thing in that scenario?
Let me go, Debbie. I can't breathe. Let me go.
But I think a lot of people equate these dynamics to a socio-economic class.
Yeah.
But it's happening. Like I got multi-million-dollar clients. I work with professional athletes. I work with the Players Association. I work in corporate America. And it's not the quote unquote hood. This is all happening at. It may be the hood that's televised.
Yeah.
But where it's happening at is in the boardroom. Sexual assault is so common. And individuals trying to climb the ladder to success. And they never disclose it because then they retreat like, well, what did I do wrong? And then they don't realize that they've had a mental health break and there's never been any recovery because now I have to keep that a secret. Nobody could know what happened to me. And that culture that has kept so many people from getting well, that cover up, the secret. I mean, like these family secrets. Don't talk about it. Just don't leave the kids with that, just don't talk about it. That was in the past. And so many, even the church, for a long time, the church just promoted, let's pray about it, let's pray on it, and let's move on. But there's some things you can't just move on without unpacking it, without like giving yourself that wholesome treatment of care.
Yeah. That's what's up. Hey, everybody, you're checking in to Dope Chats with Stretch. I'm yours truly, Stretch, along with my guest tonight, Dr. Camille Adams Jones, aka Miss Doc Jones. You know what I'm saying? I know we got a lot of people on Facebook who are watching. If you have any comments or if any questions, please put them in the chat and then pop them up, and then I'll make sure that Doc sees them and possibly answer one of your questions.
I got a question, Stretch.
What's up?
All right, let's give it. Okay. From the male perspective, how do you think single males did during this pandemic? If you know.
I
asked you to give out bro code, but
I could probably only just answer for myself. Like, it took a toll on me because I wasn't able to like see my family, see my friends as much as I wanted to. It also allowed me to really kind of like, you hit on it from the standpoint of like spend more time with yourself, and then you realize like, damn, I'm annoying, but annoying to a certain degree because I was still kind of going through certain things where I was still trying to like figure things out for myself, right? You know what I mean? Because I think, like you said, you go through that moment of time where you've eclipsed certain plateaus in your career and your life, and you think everything is kosher. But then, when you're removed from those things and you're sitting there to face certain realities where you think okay, certain people were just around you for a certain reason, or this isn't why you're able to maintain a relationship, or whatever the case may be. It's like, oh shit, all this stuff is kind of just like bombard you. And then I was like, oh yeah, I had a moment, because I was like, that was my next question to you. I was like, how does one understand or define whether you're depressed or you're just sad?
Okay, so right now we're moving in that mythical seasonal depression state. It's when it gets a little darker outside earlier and we start to look like outside feels.
Right.
There's that sadness is a recovery component. Like something has happened, I'm sad about it. I breathed, I cried, I've exhaled, and I've really rinsed that off, and I'm pushing forward. That depression, I'm not coming out of it as rigorously as I would come out of sadness. I'm showering, because a lot of people think, oh, you're not showering, not eating, not combing your hair. That's when you done got to that, ain't no question about what's going on with me right now. But then that depressive mode is you can't really shake the funk. It's like a funk that you in, and you're just like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And we steer away from coining that phrase, like, I'm depressed, because, don't you give no life and power to those words. But sometimes you got to say, we go, I just really feel down. I just really can't shake this funk that I'm in. And that is that's signaling that you may be moving into that realm of depression. And I have to say, it is more prominent in our winter months, our fall months. The summer, there's just something about that vitamin D that hits our bloodstream, that serotonin kicks in, and we just like, well, at least I'm gonna be at this beach. At least I'm gonna be at this beach. Where the winter, that outdoors component, just doesn't give you that much energy, life, and excitement. So much so that there's some people who have to sit with these special lights in the wintertime just to give their body that extra boost of like serotonin and vitamin D intake, just to like push them through. But depression is a very real realm.
Mhm.
And there's individuals that have to go as far as to be medicated for it. But when you think about it from a situational standpoint, like there's situational depression. Like I lost my dad. Like this is my stereotypical season of sadness. I lost my dad November 12th. And like November is just not a good month for me. It just seems It's just a dreary month. But I'm vocal with everybody that, in my circle of, just this is just not a good time for me. And even though, time has passed since I've lost dad, there's still these like memories of different things that you go through in the sense like, oh my God, this just happened. I'm about to be on stretch show. Let me call dad. And you're like, can't really do that. And it just brings you back. So there's those situational pieces. But then there are those like long-standing pieces, like you have not been okay for some time. You're not motivated. You're not functioning at a high level degree. You're either your food intake is either awful or insufficient. Your attitude and mood is low, or like definitely like irritable in some sense of the aspect. You're either withdrawn or you're overly engaged to the point that everybody wants to withdraw from you. So it's like,
man, we don't want to hang around him.
Yeah, you be like, yeah, thanks. But those are real aspects, and I think a lot of times people run from just the notion that I may be dealing with something along the lines of depression. I may be dealing with sadness, and I think they feel a higher comfort with coining it as sadness. But if it's depression from a clinical standpoint, you want to say that because there's treatment, intervention, and care available to you to bring it out. And that may be talk therapy, that may be medication. And sometimes you're in an environment that is the stressor for those feelings. Like how many people are in toxic work environments? I don't want to die, but listen, if you're not here by 5, you're not going to keep this job. Like 5, what, today? Because there's a pandemic outside. Have you seen CNN? And then, and it's just like, there's this, there's been this realization, which to me has been very motivational and inspiring. It's this realization of value and the value of your offerings. And so many people are just up and walking away from jobs and places places and spaces that just don't coin their value and give them those and praise their offerings. And I have to say, the movement is being generated by that one population that we've all been looking at, like, what are y'all doing? And that's these millennials. The millennials are like, listen, let me get my bag, let me get my pocketbook. No, I don't have nothing in my savings account, but I got this little Robin Hood nest and I'm headed to Dubai. So it's like no plan, but they just got vacation components, and they on about their wellness. They like, listen, you baby boomers, y'all work till you 76. That's not gonna be me. I'm working till at best 28. And then I'm just going to work on doing me and living me. And I love that the travel movement of them. I love that. I love that our community is beyond no shade, but beyond our trips to Jamaica. We in places like Cartagena, Colombia. We in Dubai. We in Morocco. We in Egypt. I love that Ghana's the new hot spot for travelers. And we're getting out there, we're doing Europe. Individuals can have conversations about how the sunset in Santorini looks, and it is just as beautiful as advertised, because we're doing life. And for so long, work was the priority. And I love that shift right now, because now it's mandating employers to change their culture in organizations.
And and it's funny that you mentioned that, because it's like, I know for me personally, through the pandemic, I mean we're still in it, but in onsets, man, I took personal days. I was like, and I didn't have to give no rhyme, no reason. I'm just like, I'm taking off. You know what I mean? And whether I stayed at the crib, or whether I went for a walk, or if I went and played golf, or whatever the case may be, I needed that time. You know what I mean? Just for me, because we get so enamored with this, the hustle and the bustle of giving so much time to someone else instead of investing that time within you, and
absolutely. And it really took the introduction of a dynamic female to me. Her name is Nicole L. Turner. She's on, y'all connect with her. You gotta look her up. She's called the Culture Pro on Twitter and Instagram. She is all about organizational health, culture, climate, in work environments, and like diversity, inclusion, transformative change. And she is the one that really introduced me to the concepts of what work should be like, what it should feel like. And when it doesn't feel that way to you, like, what are your options? And I mean, and I love the fact that she brings these trainings to like corporate America and federal spaces and small businesses. She's African-American sister, dope here in the DMV area, just doing dynamic things. But her mindset really motivated me to have greater understanding of what I needed. And it was June of this year, fresh off my homeschooling toddlers and a 4th grader, wifey and this husband of 13 years of mine being in this house. And I came downstairs and I must have looked crazy because my husband, I can't, I said, I gotta go. I gotta go. I don't know what presentation I had going on. I know I ain't had no pants on. I know this hair was matted a little bit. It was in the pandemic. I had not been to see my stylist. I may have had one eyelash at that time. And I was just like, I gotta go. I'm not okay. And he was just, the look on his face was like, just don't hurt me and the kids. Whatever you did, just go. And it was like 48 hours later, I was in Aruba.
Wow.
COVID test, and I was in Aruba. I called my sisters. They couldn't go. I called my sister-in-law. Everybody's like, listen, I need to go. My girlfriend's like, I'm having surgery. I'm like, is your surgery elective or are you able to get on this Delta flight with me in 48 hours? Like, she was like, well, let me see. I was like, okay, no, you're going to be a hospital patient, not you. And luckily, my sister-in-law was like, I just cannot leave my kids. I was like, listen, I'm leaving mine. So no shade. Come on. And we went. And I think she too saw, listen, there may be some danger around us. Like Camille looks like she could take on the role of an active shooter soon. Let's just give her what she's facing. And this is coming from somebody who does wellness.
Right.
But I was not paying attention to Camille. I was just in the motion, doing what I had to do, decorating the neck up for my Zoom calls during the day, meeting with my clients, doing my presentations, specialized speaking wherever I needed to go. But in the realm of things, the inside of me was just churning. I had great love from my husband, but I had overwhelming demand from everybody who needed to know what was for dinner, what was for breakfast. Could we go here? Could we eat this? Could we do this? Can you give me this, mommy? And then I had a husband on some, well, what are you cooking? I was like, okay, this was about to happen, okay? This is about to happen. Mommy gonna go bye-bye for a couple hours. Daddy gonna raise y'all, okay? In this case scenario, Olive Garden and DoorDash will raise y'all, but mommy going bye-bye. And we need to be able to take these spaces. I think I was in Aruba for maybe 5 or 6 days, the absolute best thing I could have ever done for myself. And I tell them, it saved my family's life because I was going to run away from home. And I tried, but I had just put on so much weight in this pandemic. I made it to the edge of the driveway, collapsed near the mailbox, laid there for about 4 to 5 hours. Nobody came to get me. And I was just like, I'm just not well. The kids came out like, can we get a juice box? And that was the only thing that sort of got me rescued, the fact that I had missed snack time. But Stretch, I'm telling you, my story is not that of one that didn't occur with other people. But then there's other people who had different things, and they had to find outlets to get better. And sometimes retreat is the best antidote of wellness. Like you said, I ain't tell nobody what I need. I just said, I can't come in today.
Yeah.
When people go, well, what's going on? Be like, I'm a danger. I'm in danger, and I don't want nobody else to be in danger. So the best thing for me right now is to take care of me. I'll be back. Don't worry. I'm definitely coming back for my check. So I'll be back. Don't worry. This ain't forever, but I'm gonna need today at least.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what does a therapist do when they need someone to relinquish their thoughts and release all their, you know, inner
So
turmoil.
you have to have that village. I just happen to have I married for love. I will tell everybody all if I had to do it again, like I'm married for economic stability and stabilization, but I married for love, and I really have a partner that will like the safest place for me is in his arms. And I know that's not like everybody's opportunity. Most of the most productive therapists have a therapist of their own. We all at the bare minimum have a circle where we bounce things off of, especially when we have like hard cases or something that's transpired, and we don't want to bring that just all of that into our sanctuary of home or our family life. We have these hot washes amongst ourselves with each other to just to get well. And a lot of times we even have to go through situations where after some tough cases, we need what we call respite. It's just taking a break, clearing the calendar, having your admin assistant, let all your clients know, everybody who's not high risk, that, Dr. Jones not going to be in this week. We're going to move you to next week, or we can, if there's something, our stereotype, if this is an emergency, what you supposed to do, what you supposed to do, Stretch?
Call somebody.
Call 911.
What?
Call somebody. If this is an emergency, life or death, don't be waiting for Camille to come back from vacation. Take your ass to the hospital and call 911 people.
I won't wait for the doctor to come back. I won't wait for
Don't worry, I'll just wait here. Don't, you better not, because if I get to a room and it go right, I'm not coming back.
God Almighty.
So you better go ahead and take yourself down to 911 to the ER. It's like, yeah, my doctor told me if I wasn't doing well to show up here. At least get you some intervention and stabilization for the most part.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, look, let's get into one of my favorite topics.
Okay.
Relationships, right? Because I know last time, when we connected, we connected like a year ago when we were doing the game show on for COVID, and making dates and all this other jazz, right? And so one thing let me preface by saying this, like one of the things I learned throughout COVID was there was like some small little tidbit things about me that I had to like work on, right, and get through, and then I worked on it, cleared my mind.
So wait, worked on it yourself?
No.
Did somebody verify the work you was doing, or
no? I went with my
therapist, but I just stayed at a Holiday Inn last night, and so now I'm okay.
No, with my therapist. Okay. Also, I took this training that you might be familiar with. It's called Landmark Forum, right? So I took that, and when I say that opened my eyes to a lot of stuff that I wasn't really paying attention to, and then it kind of put things in perspective for me. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I see now. And so it's like I my eyes open. So now I'm a little bit more open in the sense of like, okay, knowing what I want, and then understanding and seeing red flags, right?
Okay.
So now we're in this world of dating during this COVID period. Relationships is messed up, man. It's messed up because you're dealing with so much people, and it's funny because it was a lady that I could have dated some like last year or something like that, and I didn't want to hear none of her shit she was talking about, but she said something to me that really stuck to me that didn't resonate until later, way later. She said a broken person can recognize another broken person. I was like, who are you talking to? I was like, I ain't broken. And then once I took that form, I was like, oh shit,
I've been broken for a minute.
I've been broken for years.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with therapists. We are able to relate with those that are notch off, because we are notch off. We're like, yeah, I know, sis. I know. I got some black outfits too. I done jumped the fences in my life. So yes. How you think I got this one that I've been married to? Right. Yeah, I climbed his balcony before. He was gonna open that sliding door. Right. Yeah, he was in there, but she wasn't staying the night. So just those kind of things.
Oh man.
There's so many people who don't do that work, and they show up for relationships, and it's so scary because I'm like, what are you doing? You are not available. But I think back to my dating days, and I had my remedy, and I'm gonna be transparent, was if me and the guy broke up, and it was like somebody I really want to be with, I had to have the only way I can get through it was Rebound Dude. And Rebound Dude will tear your life. Oh my God, Rebound Dude gonna have you out passing out his demo tape, being his hype man. at the 7-Eleven. That's where he throwing his first concert at. Just Rebound Dude is just a mess. But Rebound Dude was like that distractor, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's some people who are addicted to love and the facets thereof. And I was having a conversation with Dr. Roz, another dope psychologist in this area. Dr. Roz, she does a great couples boot camp that she's got coming up November 16th. And she was talking about this infatuation of you want it so bad, so when it arrives, you just take it in any facet or form that it comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And this pandemic was the one. Like you just met somebody and like Tuesday and you just ran into them can I get your number? They called first. Whoa. They called. Okay. Cause that's the mountaintop. That's the mountaintop. Not no text.
Yeah.
WYD. Not that. He hit you with some growl. Yeah.
Hello, is me you're looking for? Sorry.
That's 100%. If that phone ring and it's her or it's him, you like, oh man, Jesus. Okay, I'm with you. Okay, you delivering, huh? Showing out, right? So you talk to him, and this is a Tuesday. By Thursday, they in love with you.
Mm-hmm.
They driving your Altima. They doing laundry in your house. They making decisions about the family reunion, and they just let you know, Aunt Catherine, she can't make the cornbread because especially you're just like, how you know about and you just so infatuated that somebody has just shown you care that you're just going with it, but you haven't even recognized the red flag of, did they ask your permission? Did you want your laundry done? Was it okay for them to be out there in your Ultima? Like, what the hell is going on? And then you realize you dating a homosexual, and you didn't even know how you got yourself in such an entanglement. Homosexuals has had the time of their life in this pandemic.
The crash.
The homosexuals are people who date for the sake of having someplace to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And man, was there some available spots during this pandemic. And if they could find one with toilet paper and paper towel, they wasn't going nowhere. And of course they was going to love you. And then, there was going to be, when you bring home something, you know that, talking, that girlfriend, you don't need her. You don't need him. It's just me and you, boo, Bonnie and Clyde, ride or die, drunk in love, just all kinds of stuff. And you just drinking it up. And then for my gentlemen, you out there, dating them dying sexuals. Them women who date for the sake of having someplace to go out to eat. They tired of the regular KFC grilled chicken 20-piece fill up. So they on some, hey, are you going to Maggiano's? Okay. I love you. I think we should get together. And then if you find one that's really into them Red Lobster Admiral's Feast and you realize that's the best you got to do, home run, homie. Man, it's dying sexual because we out here getting it. Yeah. Dating has been so rough. It's been on rapid fire. Everybody is just virtual, and it's like you said, we met on that game show. I was the resident clinician on that. There was so much injury in the dating pool, and I had to step back for a second because I've been out the game for 14. Well, that weekend before we got married. Well, no, I'm just no. Please not listening. I'm just kidding. No, I've been out the game for a minute, so I didn't understand what was going on in the dating community. Stretch, do you know that when you meet somebody and y'all exchange numbers, is it appropriate to send a picture of your penis to the young lady? What are you signaling when that happens? Just from a gentleman perspective, because I know your mother didn't raise you like that. But from a gentleman perspective, what are you signaling when you send a penis picture to a young lady after you have written WYD? What you do, and then you send a dick pic? What is that signaling?
I can't answer.
Don't you stutter. You know that.
I can't answer that because it all depends. I think some dudes look at certain situations where they kind of try to read the room in a sense of like they know that the certain particular person that they may send this to. And again, I'm not trying to answer for the
bro code. You're not gonna bring up bro code. Okay.
But they may see like, okay, I already know what this is going to be about, right? I'm just going to hit it, whatever. And then go about my business. And so they may that may be the leading factor into a lot, making them make that decision. But same thing could be said for women sending their titties.
Yes. I done had a couple of undressed sisters out showing areola, and I'm just like, what was your intention with this pic? So I have been coaching young ladies. When you get a penis pic, send one back and say, mine is bigger, and not just knock them off their feet. So they don't know if they was talking to Keisha or Kenny. They just like, but I'll tell you one thing, it deters that behavior. And gentlemen, you do it too. Send your little hot toddies right back. She send you some boobies. You send her your boobies. It'd be like, look at that double D back at you.
Oh my God.
A little bit. But there has to be some etiquette in dating. And I think it's classified by age range, but there is something going on with my 40 and over community. I don't know what it is, but everybody that lived their best life in their 20s, showed out in their 30s, got divorced in their late 35s, now they 40, and they believe they in the club. I said, gentlemen, this is not the club. This is a lodge at best.
A lodge.
At best, this is the VFW. Slow it down. Okay, this is not the club. This is a cabaret. Okay. Everybody up in here, most of them got your last name. So stop hitting on family members. Okay, but they believe they're the hot boys in the club. I'm just like 40 and over, just trying to relive it. For my ladies, those that didn't quote unquote have a relationship that worked out, or maybe they invested too long in their 20s and 30s. Now they're in their 40s and overs, and now they in this, I can show him he should choose me. I got to show him he should choose me. In the DC area, there's a little ratio issue, okay? Because for every available male, there are other available males looking for available males. For every available female, there's an available female looking for other available females. And then you got the crossover of those looking for the different genders. A male looking for a female looking for a gentleman. And so the pool is so saturated, right? And then you got those who are out doing their very best to get what we call chose. I'm trying to get chose. So yes, I'm going to send you a picture of these toddies, letting you know. You don't got to worry about me not putting out after that Red Lobster Admiral feast. I'm here to provide, okay? To the gentlemen, if you pick me up, you foot the bill, don't worry about it. I'm going to let you cash that receipt, okay? I'm going to let you cash that receipt. So that kind of signaling, okay? To my ladies over my 40s, if he take you on a date and he's trying to make out in his vehicle, he is homeless, okay? Or he is still staying with someone he's related to that most likely gave birth to him, and she don't allow quote unquote company. Okay.
Oh, Doc, you crazy.
So you gotta entertain in his vehicle, which at this point is also not his vehicle. It's Debbie's Altima. Okay. He's holding Debbie's Altima from what she had, how she done performed earlier that day. Okay.
Oh my God.
And so you have to ask yourself, what's your line?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your line? And that's the same thing with you, Stretch. You out here? Are you available still? Because I can make a couple of calls, right? All right.
Yeah.
So I can make some calls. But when you're available, it's not, being single does not signal available. Because if you still putting in that work to take care of yourself, clean yourself up to where you can advertise yourself, you done got rid of the baggage, you done healed from childhood trauma, whatever the last person did to you, you're not gonna weaponize it against the new person. Then that's what we consider available.
Right.
You want to set your boundaries and your goals. There's some things I'm not going to do. Okay. There's some things I'm not going to do. There's some things, even with my married couples, come on now. What are you asking for, sir? It ain't your birthday.
Right.
You want to do what tonight? Okay. Come on now, sir, turn it around, cut it out. Okay. But there are some people who, because they want to get chose, there's no limit to what they are willing to do in the quote unquote beginning. Right. But then you have released all type of anticipation for the best that's yet to come. And if that's not what you want in the long run, don't pose it in the beginning. And I tell people all the time, like when I met my husband, I was a cook. I was cooking. I was showing out in the kitchen. Okay. I knew that was something I was going to have to keep up. This pandemic hit and he was like, babe, You remember all that showing out you was doing when we was dating? How you could do chicken and pork chop? Can you get in there and do some of that? Because this chicken tender situation you done had going on for 3 weeks is getting a little old. I'm just like, okay. But what you do in the beginning, be prepared to carry out.
Mhm.
You know, and is anybody still interested in dating? Let's date.
Who knows? Let me tell you this. And this is a real story. I wanted to have you so I could tell you this story. This just happened not that long ago. So met a young lady through a friend of mine, right? You know, the friend connection, right?
Friend connection.
The friend connection.
That could be a good situation.
Could be. But let me tell you, had a couple conversations, phone conversations, couple text conversations. Wasn't, you know, daily, you know, every other day or whatever the case may be. Made plans with this young lady, right? Confirmed the date, made the reservations for the dinner. Whoop-de-whoop. It was on that date. Dinner was supposed to be on a Thursday. Hit her on a Wednesday. Sent her a text with a picture of the confirmation. I'll see you there at 7:00. This is on a Wednesday. Thursday, I'm busy. Of course, we all busy. We work. You know, I'm working.
Gotta pay for that dinner.
Yeah, working. So hit her up around about 4:00 that afternoon and said, "Hey, I'll still see you at 7." Her response was, "I thought things changed." What would make you think that things change? I hadn't heard from you all day. You didn't even text me good morning. Slim, I just met you. I don't even know you. I haven't even texted you or talked to you consistently since we were introduced to each other. So what makes you think I'm going to hit you up and say good morning? And why would you think things have changed? You know, then it made me think, then this is where the red flag comes in. About that Tuesday, we had a conversation, and she was talking about how she doesn't believe in the two-way phone thing. You know, the phone don't work two ways. I said, why would you think that? I'm like, if you think, if you want to talk to somebody or you have some questions or whatever the case may be, and, you know, God forbid something happened to me on that Thursday, right? Say, for instance, I'm laid up at Johns Hopkins. Trauma.
Been flown in.
I got trauma. I got swelling on the brain. And you up here talking about, I didn't text you good morning. And now you done made other plans and dipped on the date because you didn't receive that. I was like, that right there is a clear sign of selfishness. What's the other one? What's the other word I'm looking for? Damn, when you're into yourself all the time.
Narcissistic behavior.
Very narcissistic behavior. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay, here we go.
I'm the show. I'm the after party, baby. You feel me?
All right, so Stretch, let's diagnose this, okay? Let's dissect this a little bit. Mutual friends. So that's supposed to be a safe haven. So yes, this young lady was supposed to have the green light of the two-way communication. Right. However, on Tuesday, she signaled to you that she signaled to you that she don't believe in this two-way communication. That was your indication. I'm going to have to stay engaged with this young lady, at least until Thursday at 7:00 to see where this goes. But you have implemented your boundaries. And it's like, there's a tolerance level I'm going to have for a certain depth of foolishness and accommodations. And there's a certain depth and tolerance I am not. Right. And hers was, I thought things had changed. She did play her cards wrong with that one, because if she thought things had changed in adulthood, we communicate.
Exactly.
So that assumption may have cost her an opportunity to get a nice dinner on a Thursday night. It had to be someplace nice. The Brother Stretch had reservations. He wasn't taking you to the Olive Garden, boo. You missed out. You could have had this salad. Okay. You could have had the salad with the croutons.
Well, needless to say, I learned that lesson in the sense of, because old me would have tried to rectify the situation and because I always was under the I never liked people to think of me in some sort of ill sort of way, right? But now I'm like, I'm comfortable in who I am and what I'm doing. I don't need all that, because that's maturity.
And in adulthood, the greatest thing you can take into your belt is just where you are, what your value is, and what your stock level of tolerance is. And this young lady, if that was not it, but Stretch, don't discount her. She may circle back to be somebody did you just like, I remember you old two-way conversation, right?
Yeah.
But he's like, nah, once you lose it, that's done. And
Now
Stretch,
it's
don't
done.
be like that. Don't be like that. And
Oh
it
no.
may be, but don't close all doors because you never know. But I do feel like perhaps this is not your match because she's not on that communication level that you're looking for.
And plus, she's a little mad younger than me. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm like I'm cool from that aspect. I need adults. I need to be
Right. Just remember, you're asking for adults. Whatever you asking for, can you offer it to
Right.
my gentleman? Who be like, I need a lady who do this, do that, and can give me this, can give me that. She got this going on. She got this degree, that degree. She a homeowner. She own a business. I'm like, and what do you do? Well, I got this Air Force One collection. It done got no creases in it, and I'm telling her from jump, like, if you want to get with me, this is the prize. I'm just like, okay. So just remember, whatever you're asking of someone else, can you offer the same thing or the equivalent?
Yeah,
in a sense, like if you're asking for communication, are you a communicator? If you a cuddler, like what's your love language? Like, what's your love language? If you're asking for that and you tell the individual that and they're willing to give you that, there's got to be compromise. Like my husband and I, we are exact opposites. Like my husband is so appropriate. He's so going to heaven. Me, I be gambling, drinking, cussing in these streets. But I'm so respectful of our union, and he embraces all of me.
Right.
But from the beginning, there was this conversation of what his tolerance level was. I used to love to ride on the back of motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
You let me know. Those days are over, young lady. Okay, you coming with me? You want this? You okay? Okay, tell your little buddies out here revving the engine. You can't come out and play anymore because you chose now. Okay,
yeah, you've been flown out. You've been flown out.
You chose now. But Stretch, if you had to describe your ideal like first date, like just like you just met somebody, you're just like, damn, this is something unexpected, something just what is she doing? What's the captivating piece for you?
I think it's more so just the actual conversation aspect of it. Actually, I'm not a big proponent of dinners. You know what I'm saying? For first dates, because there's been many times where I've been burned by sitting next to somebody or across from someone who I have absolutely nothing in common with, and I just sat there just so I could, make it through the evening and then go about my business, right?
Okay.
But I prefer something that's real chill. Something maybe it's like outside, or maybe it's like a walk, or maybe I'm going to a museum, or something of common, or even a fun activity that may be like interactive in a sense, because that way you kind of get people's guards come down a little bit, and you're not throwing up some sort of facade. I
tell everybody, do not let your first date be a movie. No. Like what? Like what are you going to sit in a room for 2 hours of silence just to watch? That could be a date, but it should not be one of the first 3 dates. Yeah. I'm a big component of doing something that is engaging. Have a conversation before your first date. What do you both like? Well, we both are golfers. Okay. You want to go out and hit a couple? Like maybe we don't go out to like hit 18 rounds, but maybe we hit up swingers or Top Golf or something like that. Mm-hmm. We both like the museum. We realize this piece is in town. This show is in town. Maybe we can meet up to do that. We walk the exhibit. You get to hear like what somebody has to offer. Like, does their intellect marry yours? Are you in here speaking about, Picasso? Are you in here speaking about different genres of art? And she's reciting, scripts from Real Housewives of Atlanta or Real Housewives of Potomac, or what
Who said that?
And it's not to say that I can shout out to, all my folks on reality TV. I got a couple of my girls on shows right now. Just giving the public their just genuine selves. And so that's a conversation starter too. But if there's more to you than that, give them that. For me, I think one of the things with me, everybody, like I'm a big sports head. When guys come and be like, yeah, I'm sure you are. I'm just like I can hit you with stats for days, like things that you just were like, people like the greatest team of all time, the Duke. Now I'm like, please give me a break. You ever heard of, Greg Anthony? Yeah. Like you ever heard of UNLV? You ever heard of UNLV? Yeah. Them dudes was balling. No, that
Larry Johnson.
But them dudes, that they just don't know about that era of basketball. I used to play ball, things like that. I'm a baseball head, appreciate the the Braves bringing it home in Atlanta, but ain't nobody in Atlanta been looking at the Braves. I'm like, y'all better cut it out, Atlanta. I'm like, did you even know they had a team still in Atlanta and things like that? But I mean, as a New Yorker, you know, the '86 Mets,
right?
You know, and I was a Mets fan, not a Yankees fan. I still cheer for the Knicks. I done been through a lot, so this winning streak we on right now, let's get it, you know. But it's like, you know, so I can have those conversations about sports. I can engage in conversations about politics, current events. You know, I know what's going on with the G20 summit. I can tell you about why Virginia went the way Virginia went. But I can also sit down and have a conversation with you about Ready to Love. And like, you know, with nephew Tommy, what's going on there? My girl Robin, or Real Housewives of Potomac, her and Juan, we went to college together. Those type of dynamics. Like, and so you want to have somebody that can have all aspects of the things that are interested in you, have those conversations. And you can't get that in a movie theater on the first date. And now I'm not asking for everybody to give you their bibliography on the first date. But if you are interested in someone, give them chunks and pieces and bits of you so that they have little nuggets of fondness. Yeah. Now, I will tell everybody, don't do what I did on my first date.
What you do?
Like, my first date was what we call a real one. Okay. So my husband, then boyfriend, like I said, total opposites. And we were he invited me to dinner. So we had the dinner thing. And I don't know where we were. We were at some place. It was like a restaurant or someplace. I can't remember the restaurant was, but it wasn't like a chain restaurant. We went somewhere. And, you know, I just could tell, like, we wasn't a match. We didn't have things in common. We were talking and things like that. But we really hadn't, like, hit it off until we had the sports conversation. I could tell that intrigued him. But he was, again, I'm this spunky extrovert. Like, I'm all over the place. And he's just very appropriate. And, you know, keep your voice down. We're inside. You know, and I'm just like, ha, ha, ha. You know, and he's just like, Lord, who's this woman? And so I'm really not thinking the date is going well. So he's like, you know, I'm gonna go get the car. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna run to the restroom. And so I took, being the jokes that I am, I took all the condiments off the table, the ketchup, salt, pepper, sugar packets. And he came and I ran outside. I was like, take off. And he was like, oh my God. He just started driving, hit the curb and was running. Like, and I was just like, and he was like, oh my God, what did you do? And I was like, you a codeine now, sucker. You know, you got a codeine now. And he was like, oh my God. He's like, who does that? And I just was cracking. I could have peed on myself.
Oh,
so
man.
I had to entertain myself. And so, and it took like 3 days. He called, he was like, hello? And I was like, hey. He was like, I just was calling to see how you're doing. Like, you know, I never been through anything. I was like, yeah, fuck with me, I changed your life. You know, and he was like, who are you? Like, oh my God. And but there was something about him that there was this layer of sincerity with him that just came. Like, he was a genuine good guy, like from the jump. I knew even genuine good guys had their dirt. You know, we were in our 20s. I knew, you know, he's going to have his cycle to put me through hell. But I can honestly say he never dragged me through it. Like, I wasn't on some, who is this chick? I'm not fighting in the streets. You know, we did date pre-social media, so I don't know what he would have had planned for me if that was a little live in effect. But luckily, we got through that era and things like that. But we reconnected, and I think he needed that excitement of Camille in his life. And still to this day, I can still shock him. He'll pull a car in the yard. Like, you know, we was like, the housekeeper was in the house, and he was up downstairs, and I was like, honey, you want to do reverse cowboy? And he was like, Camille, Miss Irma's here. I was like, I just love that opportunity to like embarrass him and just make like that, like give him that blush so he shows me all of his pretty teeth, those kind of things. I know he's gonna kill me. He's gonna be like, please, baby, stop it.
That's
stop it. Like,
hilarious. Yo, that's funny. That's funny. No, I ain't got nothing to say. But,
so, ladies, if you want to go on a first date with Stratch, you steal all the condiments, make him pull off, make him your co-defendant. He with you for life.
Yeah. And don't be texting me talking about how come I wish you good morning.
I wish you good morning. Is that a thing? Because I did hear that. People do say I didn't get no good morning text. I'm just like, is that a thing now? Good morning?
No, I nor do I got the patience for all that stuff. You know what
and what time do your morning start that you can say good morning?
Yeah, I'm like, yo, you hear from somebody since, you know, what?
12 hours. I ain't heard from you in 12 hours.
12 hours? Like,
we just met, but I ain't heard from you in 12 hours.
I'm like, yo, mom, I'm swamped. I do have a job. You like, well,
Yeah.
he was like, but that's not enough. I was like, oh, you a narcissist. You want to be the star of the show.
You want to be the star of the show. And there's nothing wrong with that, Stretch. You may meet someone who you want to make the star of your show.
Yeah, I make the star of the show.
Okay.
Like look, it's 2 stars on this bill. You feel me?
Ooh, this is gonna be a rough one. Stretch, I don't know, but I'm gonna get you that love. I'm gonna get you that love connection. I'm gonna be like, listen, I want you to meet this dude. His name's Stretch. He gonna be a little bit much in the beginning, but don't be asking for a good morning and you're gonna be all right, sis.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm gonna hit you up offline on this one, but I auditioned for that for Ready to Love. I didn't make it, but I thought I would have been a good asset on that joint.
You would have been a great asset. My girl Camille Hazel's on there. I know she catching some grief, but you would have been a dynamic aspect. And because I'm thinking about some of the brothers on there, I'm like, that's what y'all got representing the DMV. Y'all making us look rough. But then everybody was like, Camille, they making us look rough, or they telling the story. I was like,
half them dudes ain't even from the area. I don't think half the cast is from the area. You know what I'm saying? One of my homegirls was on there.
Where's she from?
She's from here. We used to work together when I used to work at KYS.
Okay.
But I'm like, man, get out of here with all this nonsense. But,
I know, but I do feel like they did give the DMV dating scene like some exposure. Yeah. But you got to be from this area, and you're right. A lot of them weren't. I know Camille, she's from this area and things like that. But a lot of the brothers on there, I think we had some Richmond. I think we had one from Tennessee. I was like, where the DMV that? I was like, you can't just come here to work, brother. Do you live here?
These suckers fall in love quick off one date. I'm like,
one day, like, I just knew that was the one. That's why you ain't making Stretch, because they ain't feel like you been there ready to love somebody. But of all the contestants, do you think there was one on there you could be ready to love?
Well, I have to look at it again.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? There was one on there that I was like, oh, she dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna hit you up offline. I know which one you're talking about. I'm gonna make some connections. I know exactly the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Connections. Don't worry, I got some contacts.
She dope. But I always wanted to do a bit piece on Real Housewives of Potomac. I think they need like a little gigolo, style. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, here come that radio gigolo. I'd be like, hey,
ain't no gigolo Stretch. But I mean, put you on. I mean, everybody in this area been on Real Housewives of Potomac. I mean, like, just walk down the street. That was nothing. Like, do all these people live in Potomac?
I live in Springfield. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy. But look, here, this is my favorite part of the show. All right. So it is time for questions from the hat. All right. So we're going to do this rapid style because we way over time. But
my bad. But good combo.
It's all good. So in here I got some random questions that I put together, and then some questions that I got from my man Emil Barnes, who does Cuff. So let's do Cuff. Oh, there's a good one.
Oh, here we go.
How long is too long to be dating someone? This is for the ladies, because y'all.
For the ladies.
Something for the ladies.
All right, so I'm gonna go with my 40 and over ladies. All right, we can't give out years. All right, within a 6 to 9 month time frame, you should be asking yourself, is this somebody I want to do long term with? And you need to take it in that kind of 90-day interval chunks. Like if it ain't going nowhere, park that person in the friendship zone, have your dinners, have your happy hours together, do the lodge together, things like that. But too long, when you get over a certain point and you know what you're looking for, like especially if you're looking for like it to end in marriage or a long-term committed relationship, you got to ask yourself, what are we doing if in a year we can't commit to whether or not this is what we both want? Bet.
All right. Here's a good question here. What are some common red flags folks should look for when dating?
All right. If all of his belongings are in a black garbage bag and you find him transporting them back and forth to your home, or to our young ladies, you realize you believe they have a job, but for some reason you believe that job is Instagram posting. Now if she's an influencer making that bag, that's one thing. But you got to be comfortable with that lifestyle, because sometimes they're not all the way fully dressed, and you got to be comfortable with that lifestyle. Other red flags is, if when you guys are out to dinner, and there's sending the food back, hostility towards servers and things like that. That's not your scene. Be mindful of that. How they treat others in your present is a big one.
Or also, if you go out and she's wearing a pair of clear heels, she ain't the one.
Don't be knocking my sisters with clear heels. Clear heels making a comeback. They're not just for our entrepreneurs on the pole. Okay, so.
Down in the valley where the girls get naked. Come on. Oh man. All right. Oh, this is a good one. If you were to cast a movie, let me rephrase this. If you cast a movie that was shot about your life, who would you like to play you?
Okay. All right. Maybe a good year and a half ago, I would have went with Jada. But she's having some struggles. Okay. She's having some struggles as of late. Okay.
Jada took Will's balls off of him.
Yeah. And you know what? She did not say that. Okay. Did she insinuate it? A little bit. Okay. But I mean, I don't know. That's some hard conversations in that house. That's some hard conversations. Like when you come home, like, hey Jada, how was work today? She was like, have you been on social media? You may not want to sign on just yet. Yeah. Let's talk first.
You need to talk.
My girl Angela Bassett. I'm an Angela Bassett fan. She can't do no wrong in anything. Regina King, just a beast in it all. I would probably go with Regina.
Okay. All right. Bet. Is Kanye special in the head, or is he just a master troll?
Kanye is of genius status.
Mm-hmm.
There's no better. Actually, no, there's one, but he is a master of his just of his funding of funds. Like he knows how to generate hype. He knows how to stir media attention, and all of that in the long run rings the bell for his bag. Right. Does he have some things going on? I do. I think that death of his mom hit him in ways that, again, he never unpacked. I do think that his relationship with Kim, I think that she had some sincerities for him. Like, I think she was rooting for him. I think she was rooting for them. I think that she had some genuine love for him, and I think she still does. But I think Kanye made it hard and almost impossible for her to endure with him and things like that. But that is what comes with those mastermind geniuses right then.
That. Should men always pay for a date? If so, when should this stop?
Should men always pay for a date? The answer is no. Sometimes our gentlemen need to be spoiled as well. But it also comes into what's the agreement amongst the couple? What's been the standard? What's been the tone? But I think my gentlemen like sometimes to be taken out, to be surprised. And I encourage women to do that. Especially if you got one doing all the right things. And you know that what this world does to men. Especially of the African-American nature. You have to be their biggest cheerleader and celebrate them. And even those guys who say, I hate surprises, undercover, some tickets to the game, fly them out to Vegas to see the Canelo fight, all that kind of stuff. They like, baby, you the winner. You been chose. So I say no, you don't always have the gentleman pay. Share that wealth sometimes. Spoil your boo too.
That's what's up. And we're going to end on this one. It's the last one. What was your first concert?
My first concert, remember, I'm a New Yorker. My first concert my parents let me go to was Criss Cross. And It was the dopest experience of my life. Oh my God. Jump. The man gonna make you jump.
Gonna make you.
That was the dopest experience of my life. I went with my girl Erica, rest in peace, Erica, and our parents let us go by ourselves on the Dolo to Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York, and Criss Cross was there, and you talk about a show. Woo! And that's before I even knew what a show was, but I gotta say,
your clothes on backwards.
I had the whole thing because that's when you had to go to the show with it. I had as a matter of fact, my Gary Carter Mets jersey on backwards, my jeans on backwards, and all of that. I was ready to meet Mac Daddy and Daddy Mac.
Oh man.
And I touched Mac Daddy's braid. He don't remember me, but I did.
Man, rest in peace to the Daddy Mac.
Yes. Too young.
Absolutely. Well, Doc Jones, I want to thank you once again for just hanging out with me for this past hour and 14 minutes as we
Oh,
just.
it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Don't worry, I'll send you my invoice. You know.
Oh, come on now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me get a plug in here real quick. Follow me, ladies and gentlemen, IG as well as Twitter at Miss Doc Jones. That's MRSDOCJONES. I'm the resident psychotherapist here in the DMV, but I'm everywhere and always that you need me. If you need a virtual component of anything, I run Clinician Fest. It's a platform for all clinicians and mental health avenues and advocates and allies to come together so we can just stomp out this stigma of Black mental health and just bring a coalition of practitioners together to help increase access and equity in mental health and wellness. And I'm an author. I wrote a little book for it's called The Divorced Land of Sam. Sam has two of everything. It's really a book, to deal with some of my work that I do with couples of divorce. It's really to help you with your youngsters navigate the new scene of mommy's house versus daddy house. It uses rhyme or reason to help them conquer the new norm. So check me out, The Divorced Land of Sam's. It's on it's at Target, it's at Amazon, it's everywhere. Just check me out, Dr. Camille Adams Jones. And I love the follows. You hit me and I'll follow you back.
That's what's up, Doc Jones. Once again, I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight on this episode of Dope Chats with Stretch. And be sure to follow her, like she said, on IG at Mrs. Doc Jones, and show her some love and she'll show it right back at you. All right. Until then, we are outie. I'll be back next week. I got another dope episode next week. Something real exciting. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess this is like the month of ladies, because I got another dope young lady. She's a superstar, a country superstar, and she's black.
Country black superstar. I gotta tune into this. I love it. We everywhere, y'all. We everywhere. Okay.
It's the month of the ladies. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all keep it right here. Until then, you can also follow me on Instagram at StretchG, or you can also follow me at DopeSense76 Media. Don't forget Last Request. The novel is available now and bookstores everywhere. So pick that up. And Doc, I'm gonna let you know I'm working on my second book, right?
I saw that. Is it novel month? Is it right in novel?
It is novel month. Yeah.
Let's get out here. Let's get it. It's gonna be ready by Christmas.
No.
Drag. Come on. Get in that clinic.
I just started writing yesterday.
I saw chapter 2.
Yeah. So I'm getting there, but it's gonna be all good though. But it will be out this summer. Trust and believe.
I love that.
That's
all
what's
right.
Up.
Peace and blessings, everybody.
You got it, y'all. So we'll holler at you next week right here on Dope Chats with Stretch. All right, 1.